I tell them, you thought as you entered the UA. You walked inside the building in your normal form, bringing no attention whatsoever to you. It seemed empty at the moment due to class still going on. While walking, you spot a figure ahead of you which flickered a light in your head. From the back, he had long black hair and a scarf around his neck. Mr. Aizawa. You quietly called as he stopped along with you. You took a deep breath in before hurriedly running after him and positioned yourself ahead of him so that now you were in front. What are you doing here? He darkly muttered, causing a chill to go up your spine. Scary, you thought as you realized how dark the aura had become. Aizawa scanned your body. You were wearing your hero costume, looking all bright and cheery. Your mask was above your head, revealing your eyes which sparkled. Oh hey. Well, I'm a teacher here, so. Not that. You're late. Oh yeah. An hour late. You blinked your eyes in surprise. An hour? Yes, he said that right. Goddamn traffic. There's so much on a Monday morning. How you hated Mondays. Especially Monday mornings. Aizawa explained about how he had to be in charge of your class which you had missed, leaving you to feel guilty. He wasn't so scary once you got to know him. However, he was very quiet, so you would be the one doing most of the speaking. Once he led you to the noisy classroom, he led you in just in time for the class. Shut up all of you. He coldly said as everyone went quiet and sat down. This is the night mistress. She's here to teach you all for the next period. Hi. You shyly waved as you looked at the students before you. I'm the teacher who failed to make it on time. You whispered in embarrassment as you averted your eyes. You could hear a few snorts of laughter before a whole conversation builds up inside the room. Oh, she's the night mistress. She's so cool. That body, those legs, those. Mineta, I can't believe it's her. And her gear and that mask. She must really want to keep her identity. She shoots beams of light using those gloved hands of hers. So amazing. And she's dressed in darkness, helping her camouflage perfectly. You gawked at the green-haired boy who began blabbering key facts he had picked up on you. God, this really is the UA. Shut the hell up, stupid Deku. A harsh voice interrupted, making both you and the green-haired boy flinch. You stared at the class in front of you. Well, this is going to be amusing. Chapter 4. The morning went really fast, turning into the afternoon before you knew it. The UA kids in Class 1A were really something else in a good way. You let out a sigh as you walked home. The rain beginning to drip down. Pulling your hood over your head, you dash your feet faster on the ground, running to find shelter. You enjoyed the feeling of the rain splashing onto your face. The rain was very heavy and sudden. A cloudburst. Still beautiful, you thought, as your FC hoodie began to soak through. Unluckily, you hadn't brought an umbrella since you had left it at home. And the weather was so bright this morning. You thought to wonder how amazing it was on how you had been tricked. You glimpsed a side of a building offering a gap of shelter. You raced towards it as you duck under, letting out a sigh. Cloudbursts don't last long, so it should be okay, you said aloud, unaware of the presence next to you. You turned your face to the side after noticing them at last. It was the figure of a tall masculine body. His coat had been drenched in rain just like yours. His black raven hair dripping wet as well. Did you forget your umbrella too? You laughed as you turned to him. The man before you stared down at you. His eyes were dull as if he hadn't had a good night's sleep in a while. He didn't look too pleased since he wasn't smiling. There was purple stapled patches on his skin. Raven black hair. That same coat. Oh, it's you again. You bluntly say to the man who stared at you. As realization took over, your eyes widened as you yelped. Oh shit, it's you again. Your sudden outburst didn't startle him at all. In fact, he kept the same expression, not even flinching at the raise of your voice. What? He replied, raising a brow, but still kept his dull expression. It took a few seconds to realize you weren't dressed the same. You were in your casual clothing, and back then you had hidden pretty much all your facial features. You waved your arms around awkwardly as you let out a giggle. Oh my, I am so sorry. I mistook you for someone else. You looked like someone I know. You lied as you bowed your head repeatedly. The taller male stared at you for a few seconds, examining your looks. After he was satisfied, he looked back into your eyes. You're shaking. He commented on, making you flinch even more. Am I? Oh well, it's quite cold. You smiled, a bead of sweat rolling down your face. Thankfully the rain could disguise this. Not to worry, I have another coat in my bag. You assured as you rummaged through your bag and showed him a coat, but then put it back in. I don't want it to get soaked. You explained as you looked up at the sky. The clouds were still blocking the sun as raindrops hit the ground. What's your name? You asked, certain he wouldn't know what you were about to do with this information. The male looked at you for a second, wondering whether it would be safe to tell you or not. Dabi. He eventually replied as he finally faced you. He looked down at you as you cocked a brow. Just Dabi. Dabi nodded as you bit the inside of your cheek. Perhaps he knew it was dangerous to give out his full name and wanted to be cautious. Clever. You thought before you cleared your throat. Well, my name's Random N. Random LN. You greeted, putting out a hand in greeting. Two can play at this game. Chapter 5. Dabi nodded his head but stared suspiciously at the strange grin you had on your lips. So where are you heading off to after this? Somewhere. He replied quickly as he stared forward. Somewhere? Sounds nice. What about you? Me? Oh, I'm also going somewhere. Great. Well, this was awkward. Short conversations weren't really your thing unless it was to someone who you weren't too fond of. You weren't fond of this guy either, but it was for work reasons.